thing that I was wondering, and this is more to do with Sebastian and the situation after he went missing. But on the Pascal show back in, again, I think it was March or April, you had said that Chris approached you, or you had approached Chris. There was a conversation that occurred where Chris told you something along the lines of, if people found out about such and such thing Sebastian said or did, they would want to stop. They wouldn't want to look for him.
Correct.
Do you know what Chris was talking about?
I do.
All right. Is it something that Sebastian did or something that happened to him?
Something that Sebastian was supposedly doing.
Okay. Did this involve anyone other than Sebastian?
No.
Okay. So it was just Sebastian.
Yeah, we're not going to go into any of that.
The main question I had was that there were some accusations that had to do with with Chris's daughter or something like that.
He was basically threatening to do more harm to Sebastian other than what he had already done, which was to his reputation.
Yeah.
Sebastian loves Faith. Sebastian considers Faith his little sister. Sebastian has never touched, hurt, or harmed a hair on Faith's head.
Okay.
So and I can tell you guys,
what I need to know.
I spoke to Nina, which we all know who she is.
Yeah.
And if you heard Nina talk about how Faith feels about Sebastian, she's misses heartbroken. Yeah. She misses him dearly.
Yeah. I feel horrible for her.
He calls me that Wednesday. And he's like, and I was like, oh, great. He's calling. So I just went straight to voicemail. And then he had said 911. Call me. So then I was like, well, it must be emergency. So let me call him. I called him and I said, what's up, Chris? And he was like, he's like, Nina, I gotta tell you something. And I was like, and in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, he's gonna tell me that the trial, we're not gonna go to trial, that everything is gonna be done with, and we don't need to worry, and we can, we don't need to do all this stuff. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. And then he tells me, I gotta be open and honest with you. And then he pauses like for 6 or 7 seconds. And I'm like, well, I was like, what? What do you have to tell me? So then at that point in time, he tells me that Sebastian went missing. And I was speechless. I have to say I was speechless. And then I went into saying, well, what happened? Like, how did he go missing? Like, what happened? And he said, well, he went missing between 12:30 and 6 a.m. And I'm like, it's thinking to myself, and then, that's crazy. And I said, don't you have security cameras, Christopher? I said, you mean you have security cameras in your house? I mean, don't you? And he paused. He didn't say anything. So then I said, what happened to your dogs? I said, don't your dogs? I said, you have those Yorkies and I said, every time that I call Faith, I said, they're barking. He didn't say nothing. So I said, I said, are you lying to me? I said, because thinking in my head, like, are you just buying more time for this trial that's coming up? Like, what other information are you going to find out that you're going to use against me, right? So then I said, I'm going to look this up. And I said, have you contacted your lawyer yet? I said, we still have a trial, I said, at 8:30 next Tuesday. And he had raised his voice at me and he said, we're not going. And I was like, don't raise your voice at me. You're not going to disrespect me like that. You're not going to raise your voice at me. So then I said, by law, I said, I have to contact my attorney. And I said, I'm going to email him as soon as I get off the phone with you. And I'm going to tell him that there's a missing child. And I had stated like, okay, well, is there like something, we could do? Can you send me like a flyer? Can you send me something? I said, I could put it on my social media and it'll take off. Like I have a lot of people that I know and a lot of my clientele. I said, we're willing to, they share a lot of my stuff. So he never sent me anything. But the more and more days that had passed by, the more and more that I got, like, oh my God, like this is crazy. Like, and the things that didn't make sense to me was why Christopher and Katie aren't looking for Sebastian. I don't know, but I know if one of my babies went missing, I'd be out there searching night and day. I don't know how somebody could just sit at home and just wait for your baby to return. When I'd be out there looking every single second, I'd be out there by horseback. I'd be out there by a golf cart, by whatever I can get my hands on to get into the forest and look, or wherever in these neighborhoods, wherever I could possibly go. I'd still be wearing the same clothes that my son or daughter went missing in. I'd be running on adrenaline. All I could think about is the time that happened to me when they took Faith from me. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't even drink water. I lost so much weight. And I knew where my baby was at. And this hits home for us because of Faith. Faith's known Sebastian pretty much half of her life, or her whole entire life. I feel for Seth. I feel for his family, the Rogers family. I'm in shock. I can't believe this has happened. And Faith asks me, and she talks about Sebastian, and she asks me, Mama, are they gonna find him? And I tell her, yeah. I've talked to Seth on a parent-to-parent level. And we talked about some things that, we both, we shed some tears together, and just the pain in his voice. it hurts. But I feel like people now want to listen to me. People now want to hear my voice when I've been saying the hurtful things that were done to my children and to myself. Nobody wanted to listen to me before. And now that this baby is missing, you want to listen to me now? You want to ask me questions now? I do right now have temporary full custody of Faith till we go back to court. I mean, I talked to Seth. And I've always told him, I reach out to him and I let him know, we're here, whatever you need, let us know how we can help you. But I remember him telling me the first night that I reached out to him, or he reached out to me, and he said, you can help Sebastian and you can help me by keeping Faith there and keeping her safe. When you hear that from another parent and the situation that's going on, what do you say? Like, I'm doing the best that I can, but it's the justice system here. My biggest fear is that somebody's gonna make the wrong decision for Faith and she goes out there. And what am I gonna do? What if something like this happens to my baby? Are you gonna tell me I'm sorry, Miss Gomez? I made the wrong decision? The justice system has failed a lot of kids, has failed my kids, and it's also failed Sebastian. I've been fighting this since Faith was a newborn, and I'm still fighting it. I don't know what it's gonna take. I don't really think anybody really cares the decisions that they make for children because it's not happening in their personal family. They don't know somebody. It doesn't hit home. It'll never happen to them. A lot of these people always tell me, don't show your feelings in court. Don't be emotional. So I'm just supposed to sit there without feelings, without crying, without telling people how I really feel. I feel like a lot of these also, because there wasn't enough creamer in their coffee for, a lot of these judges that make these decisions, and maybe they got angry that morning or whatever the circumstances are. They make bad choices for a lot of these children. And I won't let faith be one of them. I will always fight for faith, like I have been. I wish people would open up their eyes and listen to when people are saying it's not a good idea. I don't think they're stable. I don't think that they're a healthy parent. I you know, because look at what happened to Sebastian. And I feel for him because I'm a mom of a 15-year-old daughter. I hope and we pray every single day for his safe return. If there's anything that I would say to everybody is look out for one another, look out for your kids. And no relationship is worth your children's relationship at all. At all. So, I believe I had to tell my story so it can get out there. Because it still haunts me to this day. It haunts my children. It haunts our everyday life. We don't live a normal life. We are always living on the edge because of Mr. Proudfoot. I mean, his mother wanted to pay off the daycare, buy them some new playground equipment, just so Christopher and his mom can stay there longer to see Faith. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, my mind is all foggy right now because thinking about everything that I've went through, I'm sure I left some bits and pieces out. But I know what I've experienced, and it wasn't a good experience at all whatsoever. So, that's our story.
Seth, you made the comment that Sebastian had never done anything to harm Faith, and of course we know that from talking to Nina, but he had never done anything to harm any child for that matter, had he?
No. I taught my son that we're men. Men are protectors. You protect those that are dear to you, that you love. Period.